So I'm going to be tricking you into improving your wellness. In this video, I'm going to lay out how I'm going to do this. And you're going to be a big part of this trickery. Is trickery even a word? This tomfoolery, this malarkey. All right, I'm going over. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Patrick, and I'm one of the co-founders of Eleu Health. A little bit about us. So Eleu Health is a wellness solutions provider, and we use our app to collect, analyze, and deliver real-time data to you. Using that data, we offer customized analysis, life sciences-backed action plans, and education to help you improve your mental and physical health. It's simple. What can be measured can be improved. More about us later on. Now let's talk again about how we're going to trick you. There are 10 dimensions of well-being, and probably the most important 3 are physical, emotional, and social. And the point of those 10 dimensions is that they're interconnected to give you a holistic view of your well-being. Now, at this point, I've probably lost you. And to be honest, I've lost myself as well. So let's try again. Wellness is about getting your brain to be in sync with your body. If I'm physically okay, but I'm not mentally okay, am I really okay? I think we both know the answer to that. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure most of us pay more attention to our physical health more than our mental health. And if you told me I need to take a pill to get better, that's a whole lot easier than telling me I have the time from my day and my daily hustle to think, research, educate myself on something that I can't see, that I can't feel, and that I have no idea if it really exists. So rather than play mind gymnastics, actually, you know what? Let's play mental gymnastics. Let's trick you to actually deal with the issues while not giving it a name or a title that turns you off. Now, I've kind of been scouring the interweb to see what's out there. And lots of our peers, let's be honest, we have no peers because we're awesome. They tend to focus on the what and the why. But you know what's missing? The how. And I figure that most people are pretty up to speed on the what and the why, and it's the how that seems to be a big gray area. Now, don't get me wrong, we are going to focus on the what and the why because that is part of the education, but we're also going to figure out on the how to deal with things, not just why they're there and what they are. So for example, if I sat here and I spoke to you about financial well-being, you know what you're going to do? You're going to tune me out. Because the last thing that you want to do is think about financial well-being. What does that even mean? But what if I told you that part of my stress is about managing my finance and that I needed somebody to help me figure out what I could do with my finances so that I wouldn't have such a hard time? Then that would make a lot more sense to me. And then I've talked to you about things such as the first part of a financial plan is to actually create a budget. Once you create a budget, manage your debt. Okay, so how do I manage my debt? Well, I'm not sure if you know this, but one of the things that you can do is, let's say if you're carrying a balance on your credit card, is call up your credit card company and ask them to reduce the interest rate on your card. They may come and tell you, yes, but what about the rewards and what about all of these points and all of these wonderful things that you're collecting? And my answer would be, what's the biggest priority for you? Is it rewards and is it points on things that you can't afford? Or is it less interest rate so that you're paying more towards principal? And the second thing that I would focus on is small things that make a big impact. For example, rather than going for 3 $10 coffees in one day, why don't you go for 3 $2 coffees from your house? From there, once we've got a little bit of savings, now we have to look at what are we going to do with those savings. So the thing about money is this. Money sitting in a bank doesn't really do much. You need to make it work for you. So how about investing that money? But before you invest that money, you need to figure out what you want to invest that money for. And here's my cat. You guys can say hi to Midnight. You can just get his tail out of my way. All right, Dr. Evil. About investing. So once you figure out that you've saved up a little bit of money, you need to focus on investing. Now, what are you investing for? Are you going to invest for retirement? Are you going to invest for a major purchase like a house or a car, or perhaps for some sort of wedding or a massive one-time event? Well, those have different timelines behind them. And so you've got different risk factors associated with the investments that you're going to make. The longer the investment, or the longer the timeline to your investment, the more risk you can. The less the timeline to cash in on your investment, the less risk you want to take, because you want to maintain your capital. Now, that's some of the how that we'll be dealing with in each one of those dimensions. So if you're still not convinced, let's do a couple more. One of the things that I spoke to you about is occupational well-being. Well, what does occupational well-being actually mean? For me, if we just dumb it down to its most basic level, occupational well-being is about figuring out what makes you happy at work. Is it more work-life balance? Is it recognition at the office? Is it career development? Now, all of these are pretty important, but the main issue is that you're going to have to prioritize them. If you focus on work-life balance, perhaps at your organization, and I'm not saying that that's a fact, but it might be something to consider, perhaps at your organization, if work-life balance is there, recognition and career development won't, or vice versa. If you can get the career recognition and the career development, maybe it's going to be at sacrificing work-life balance. Once you prioritize which one it is that you want, you're going to be able to focus on it. So let's talk about some of the hows on this. Because like I said, you guys are pretty up to speed on this. This is not new stuff. So the how on it is, in my view, one of the strategies that we would employ, and what I've employed in my 20-year banking career, is figuring out what makes my manager tick. What's his main problem or her main problem? And the way we look at this is through 3 parameters. So one of them is pain points, then it's fears and desires. Once you figure out their pain points, their fears and desires, you know what their problem is and you know how to solve it. And I can guarantee you, your colleagues have not looked at it in the same way as we're just discussing now. You do that, and then you work on solving their problem, they will look at you as the person who solves all of their issues, the person who makes the department run better or more efficiently or more effectively. And that's going to lead to recognition and hopefully career development. Now you might tell me, well, hold on a second. What if the manager's good or the manager's bad? Well, if the manager's good, you're going to get that recognition, because that's what good managers do. If the manager's bad, they may recognize what you're doing, but they may not say that publicly. And at the end of the day, we don't lead companies, we lead managers. So that's going to be up to you. But let's not take such drastic and extreme measures off the first go. So you've got a bad manager and you need the recognition, you need the career development. We know in every organization, there are 2 channels. There's the official channel, knock on the door of the manager and make sure that you let them know that you want to do all of the things necessary to move forward in your career. Or there's the unofficial channels. And those unofficial channels could be people who become advocates for you, mentors at the office, people in your network. And that's a very important thing. I mean, part of your personal brand is always going to be your network. It doesn't matter where you're internal or you're external, meaning it doesn't matter if you're working in operations, in HR, or in marketing, or if you're working in sales and you've got a network with outside clients. It doesn't matter. A network is as strong as the strongest person, unlike a team, which is only as strong as its weakest link. Think about that. A network will go as far as the person who's the furthest ahead. So get an advocate, get someone who can use that soft touch, who has your ear and who has the ears of others to start getting that recognition and that career development. So it takes a little bit of thinking, and it's got a lot to do with strategizing and making sure that you implement that strategy on both the good days and the bad days. But again, if I talk to you about career development and I talk to you about moving forward at work, that's very different from talking to you about occupational well-being, but they actually mean the same thing. Now, what if I spoke to you about physical well-being? You're gonna be like, dude, I know exactly what you mean. I don't have time for exercise. I don't have time for mindfulness. And I certainly don't have time to fix my diet. I've got 2 kids. I've got a spouse or a partner, or maybe I'm dealing with my children alone. And I have very limited time for them, let alone for myself. I'm in the middle of going to dance recitals. I'm in the middle of going to soccer practices, and I just have no time for them nor for myself. And telling me to go to the gym, which takes time, also takes money. So I just can't afford it. And the question I would ask you, I mean, these are all very, very valid points. But the question that I would ask you is not, can you afford it? It's, can you afford not to? Remember that physical well-being, no, we didn't say physical well-being, because physical well-being is not the trickery. The trickery is working on ourselves, working on our exercise and our diet. Well, that's just the fuel, and that's cleaning up the motor and making sure that the motor is efficient and effective so you can deal with and handle your day. So I already told you I was going to trick you and that you were going to trick yourself. So let's not call it the 10 dimensions of well-being. Let's call it how to handle your At this point, I guarantee you, Sarah has probably edited that out. We're going to start again and say it a little differently, a little bit more PC, and say, this is where you start to look at what it is that you need to work on to make sure that you are happier both at work and at home. Now, each dimension has its own flow. So it's the what, the why, and the how. What we're going to do is, with time, we're going to build out playlists for each one of those dimensions. And what I'm going to ask of you is take the time that you need to figure out which one of those dimensions correlates the closest to your issues, and then start watching those playlists. And they'll be interconnected. There's going to be some things that, they have to work together. We'll try to make sure that it's as simple as possible. We'll try to make sure that they're as short as possible, and you just follow the playlist and go along with it. And as you fix your issues and as you work on those issues, please do us a favor. Let us know in the comments below how things are going, what you would like to see more of, and just let us know how you're improving. But wait, there is more. We're also working with certain companies to build out programs that will help you achieve the well-being. No, I said no well-being. Help you achieve your goals so that you can be more effective and more efficient in your day and be happy. Now, those programs that we're going to be working on, those are super correlated to the how. It'll be companies and subject matter experts that will tell us how to achieve the goals that we need within the dimensions that we're talking about. I can't talk to you much more about that for now, but I do promise you that as soon as we roll them out, you guys will be the first to know. So I do want you to be patient with us as we build out our programs and work for you. And in the meantime, remember, we may have tricked you into improving your well-being by changing the words to make it more relatable, but you need to find other ways to trick yourself into working on yourself without making it look like work. Try to say that 10 times. Make it fun where you can, and remember, you are not alone in this journey. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe. And if you want to know more about our killer app, please go to www.eleuhealth.com, or you can go to either one of those stores, iOS or Android, and you can download the app from there. And in the meantime, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Be safe.